Our economy is growing very unusually across the developed world. We have had 0 quarters of negative growth.
Guys, please listen again, and slowly this time, what this absolute disaster of an Australian leader has just said.
Our economy is growing very unusually across the developed world. We have had 0 quarters of negative growth.
He is bragging that the Australian GDP is growing, and he is telling us that this is very unusual across the developed world. But he is not telling us why the GDP is growing unusually, is he? Well, I can tell you why. Because Albane is running one of the most psychotic immigration policies that has ever been seen in the Western world. He has created a housing crisis where Australians are being smashed by ever-growing enormous rents, caused by ultra-low vacancy rates, which is caused by him shoveling as many people that he can get away with into the country all at once, just so he can stand up and do this little speech about growth like it is a good thing. The carnage that this fake growth is causing on the streets of Australia is shocking. Homelessness rates are spiralling out of control. House prices are going to the moon, which is killing the hopes and dreams of younger generations. Increasing ramping rates in hospitals are actually killing people. Now, the massive influx of new people is destabilising social cohesion, which is going to lead to big problems coming down the line. Anyone can see it. Yet this man pretends to be oblivious. And the really sad thing is that modern Australia is on this path to oblivion for absolutely no reason at all. The whole economy is set up for growth at any cost. But what for? Australia's fertility rate is less than 1.5 and it has to be 2.1 to keep the population stable. So if the natural population is going to soon be going down, then why do the governments constantly keep on striving for growth? Just think about it. If there are 10 people and then one person unfortunately passes away, say, you now only need 90% of the resources that you did before to keep the same standard of living for these 9 people. If the population stays the same or drops, you do not need growth. The only people who do need constant growth are the parasites on top who need infinitely more people to keep the house prices going up and the rents increasing. These parasites don't like the idea that a stable or falling population would mean more houses available for the population, because that is exactly what it means. If the natural population declines, there will be more houses than are needed at some point, and the house prices would come down. This would be the perfect scenario for the majority of Australians, and absolutely the perfect scenario for all future Australians. This fake growth is currently a disaster for the majority of Australians, who are finding it harder and harder and harder just to survive. They need to take on ever-increasing levels of debt, and even by doing this, they are still never going to achieve the same standard of living that their parents had. And the really cynical, twisted part of all of this growth is that Australians are no longer reproducing because of the pressures that eternal growth is putting on them. You really couldn't make it up, could you? Australia was doing fine and had enormous potential with the population it had before Albane flung open the borders. It's got natural resources that other countries are in awe of. It's got technological expertise that is extremely advanced. It's got everything that could keep a stable or falling population extremely wealthy. But that is not enough for the leaders of Australia, who are all so heavily invested in real estate and by default, ever increasing growth. If the Australian natural population is declining and the likes of Albane want eternal growth, just think what this actually means. And just listen one more time to this traitor.
Our economy is growing very unusually across the developed world. We have had 0 quarters of negative growth.
I swear in the future, when everyone catches on to just how destructive this eternal growth has been for the West, scholars will look back at speeches like this and wonder, did he know what he was doing and just did it anyway to make himself richer? Or was he just not intelligent enough to see the disaster that he was unleashing? So yes, Australians, don't be fooled by this constant talk of growth. It is a fallacy. It exists only to make the rich much richer and keep the poor much poorer. Degrowth is happening to the natural population, and as a result, natural degrowth of the economy would not cause any negative impacts. In fact, it would be beneficial for a cohesive and functioning society. Now, I'm not sure if any Australian political parties have totally broken free from this cult-like growth target that the rich elites have brainwashed us all with in the West for years now. But if a party does exist like this, then I encourage every young Australian out there to consider voting for them. And to all my young Australian friends, if there is not a party out there yet, create one for the sake of future Australians. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.